Are you a small business owner considering forming an S corporation? You might want to think twice. Here are some reasons why an S corp might not be right for you. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of Emerald Expectations Accounting. I'm so happy that you're here. The Emerald Corner is a place where life and business meet. So I want to share with you the process of running a business while maintaining a life with your loved ones. In today's video, as you saw in our opening, we are going to be talking about 5 reasons why an S corporation might not be right for you. I'm sure you've seen some TikTok and Instagram videos that have been going around about how great S Corps are and how everyone should be an S Corp and so on and so on and so on. So as an accountant, I thought it might be fun to share some instances that might mean it doesn't make sense for you specifically to start an S corporation or to elect to be an S corporation, right? And then I'm going to share a couple of reasons why you might want to be an S Corp as well, but that'll be at the end. So we'll start with why you shouldn't be an S Corp. So reason number 1 is you're not big enough, right? So the way an LLC works is that all of the money that you make is taxed using self-employment taxes, right? And so what that is Social Security, Medicare taxes, and then you have to match those, okay? So you have to pay Social Security twice, Medicare twice, okay? And what happens when you elect to be an S Corp or you form an S corporation is you have to now pay yourself a reasonable salary. And the reason that they do this is because the government still wants to receive some of your Social Security and Medicare, right? And so when you pay yourself a reasonable salary, you pay yourself Social Security, Medicare taxes there. So you pay those self-employment taxes on that salary. And now the benefit of this is, let's say you pay yourself a $60,000 salary, but you make $100,000. So the difference between the amount you pay and the amount you make, so $40,000 in this instance, you don't have to pay those self-employment taxes on, right? Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what the heck does reasonable compensation mean? Well, let me tell you, the answer isn't short. So I'll try to condense it as best as I can, but it is a little bit more complicated, okay? So basically, what would you pay somebody to come in and do the job that you do, okay? So as the CEO, keep in mind you wear a lot of hats, right? You're the CEO, you're probably the operator, you're the chief marketer, you're the social media manager, etc. You wear a lot of hats, right? So how much would you pay someone to come in and do the same job as you? So, using that information, it's probably not like $10,000. So we have to make sure that it's reasonable in order for the IRS not to revoke your S election, because they will do that. The IRS will come in and say you are not paying yourself a reasonable compensation, and therefore you are not an S Corp. And then you'll have to pay taxes on all that stuff. And it'll be cool. Not really. So number 2 is you're not ready to complicate things. So as you probably guessed from number 1, being an S corporation can be complicated. But not only that, there are a lot of extra requirements of being an S corporation, right? S Corps require more paperwork and compliance than other business structures. You'll need to file annual reports, maintain corporate minutes, and meet specific guidelines for shareholder meetings. This administrative burden can be time-consuming and costly, especially for solo entrepreneurs or small businesses with limited resources. Furthermore, S Corps have restrictions on who can be shareholders. While sole proprietors, partnerships, and certain trusts can't own shares in an S corporation, certain types of businesses like LLCs and C corporations have no such limitations. So if you plan on seeking outside funding or bringing in different types of stakeholders, an S corporation might not be the best fit for you. Number 3 is you are not ready to hire an accountant. I know, I'm sure this seems a little self-serving, but the truth is that having an S corporation can be complicated, and you really need to make sure that 1, your books are in order, and 2, that you're processing the payroll like you're supposed to, so that you don't have any compliance issues. So if you're not big enough, you're not mentally prepared or ready to hand off your financials to someone else, then you might not be ready to be an S corporation. Number 4 is because of all of this stuff, the S corporation also has its own tax return. So if you're not ready to pay for an additional S corporation tax return, then you might not be ready to file as an S corp. An S corporation tax return usually starts at like $1,500 for that return, and it just kind of goes up from there. So if you're not prepared to pay at least $1,500 a year for your tax return, then you're probably not ready to be an S Corp. And then lastly, if your income isn't consistent. So like I said, you have to regularly pay yourself a salary. So if you're not bringing in enough income on a regular, consistent basis to pay yourself that salary, then you're probably not ready to have an S corporation. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not flexibility when it comes to your payroll. It just means that if you're trying to pay yourself every 2 weeks, but every 2 weeks you don't have the money, then you have to skip one, but you have to make that up later. Maybe you have to do it every quarter, and it can get to be a little bit much. So if you're not able to consistently pay yourself because you don't have consistent income, it's probably not a good idea to add more to your already full to-do list, right? All right. So those are some of the big reasons why you should not consider an S corporation just yet. That doesn't mean you can't consider it in the future. There's always time for that, but maybe each year kind of do an evaluation and see if you're ready to make that election or not. But if you are thinking maybe you're ready, then these are some telltale signs. Okay, number 1, you are ready for a steady paycheck. Maybe you've been doing this for a while and you've started to feel the exhaustion from not having a consistent paycheck and, having to transfer money here and there kind of as you need it, or maybe you're just transferring the money manually every month. Whatever that looks like, if you're ready to switch back to having a consistent paycheck where you're getting paid every single month, every 2 weeks, whatever you want that to look like, then you might be ready for an S corporation. Number 2, if you make enough money. So just like we talked about in the beginning, if you don't make enough money, you might not be ready. If you are making enough money, you might be ready. I usually kind of draw this line right around $100,000, but there is definitely some flexibility there. So don't just immediately say, oh no, I'm not making $1,000. I guess that's not me. That's not what I'm saying. But generally speaking, a lot of people, it's around $100,000. Okay. So if you're making that much money, then you might be ready for an S corporation. Okay. So number 3 is you're ready to become strategic. Now, I know that one's kind of vague, and maybe you were already feeling strategic before, but you're ready to start making some changes, starting to really build a business that can, grow and thrive and run without you. And so you're ready to become more strategic about how you operate your business. If that sounds like you, then you might be ready to have an S corporation. Okay. So number 4 is you're ready to keep more of your hard-earned money. I'm sure by now, if you're listening to this video, you've probably already had to start paying in taxes, right? So either, April 15th, your CPA or tax preparer was like, hey, look, sorry, you owe some money. Or they said, I think it's time that you start doing some quarterly estimated tax payments, right? So if that's you and you're ready to start keeping more of that money rather than paying it to the IRS or to your state entity, then you might be ready to have an S corporation. And last, but certainly not least, number 5 is you're ready to hire or you're already working with a tax strategist. Now again, this goes with number 3 and number 4, but you're ready to be strategic. You're ready to keep more of your money. And the best way to do this is by hiring a professional. I know that's hard for some of you, but unless you have time to read the tax code, which is over 700 pages at this point in time, then I think it's about time you find somebody who does this for a living and they are familiar with the tax codes. They can help guide you to find all the best tax credits, all of the best deductions, all the great loopholes that there are out there, and all the strategies that you specifically with your business can implement. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, so not everybody qualifies for all of the same tax deductions and strategies. So you need someone to look at your individual situation and tell you what applies to you in your specific business. So if you're ready to do that or you've already done it, then usually this S corporation might be the first step, or at least an entity review might be the first step of the process. So if this sounds like you might be ready for an S corporation. Well, what do you think? Which one of these sounded like you? Are you ready for an S corporation or not? Remember, choosing the right business structure is crucial for your success. So evaluate your specific needs, consult with a professional, and consider all the pros and cons before deciding to go with an S corporation. If you're not 100% sure, please consult a tax professional, somebody who can help walk you through what this would look like for you and if it would be beneficial for you. And if you just can't find that person, I'd be happy to help you. My contact information can be found below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful tips and insights for small business owners just like you. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video.